The system isn't broken. It was built this way. Why Black women don't need more training, they need your money. Good evening, beautiful souls. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve, without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. Tonight, I need to share something with you that shattered everything I thought I knew about entrepreneurship, about worthiness, about who gets to build empires and who gets told to wait their turn. I recently had the profound honor of sitting down with Enchantra Sanders, a visionary leader who is not just transforming the landscape for Black women entrepreneurs across the globe. She is dismantling the very systems that were designed to keep us out. Enchantra is building networks where doors were locked. She is rewriting narratives where our stories were erased. She is demanding that the world stop asking Black women to prove their worth and start investing in the brilliance we have already demonstrated over and over and over again. What she shared with me during our conversation was so disruptive, so powerful, so necessary that I knew I had to bring it to you here in this space where we are learning to be soft in a world that taught us survival. Because here's the truth that Enchantra illuminated for me, and I need you to really hear this. Africa leads the entire world in female entrepreneurship rates. Let that sink in for a moment. The entire world. Black women on the African continent are starting businesses, generating revenue, creating jobs, driving economic transformation at rates that surpass every other region on this planet. We are not talking about small ventures. We are talking about businesses that feed families, employ communities, and shift entire economies. And yet, and yet, women led startups capture only 2 to 3% of global venture capital funding. 2, 2, 3%. Now, if you are like me, your first instinct might be to ask, what are these women doing wrong? What skills are they missing? What training do they need? What empowerment workshop did they skip? But that is exactly the question the system wants us to ask. Because when we ask that question, we are accepting the narrative that Black women are the problem, that we are not ready, that we are not capable, that we need more coaching, more mentoring, more empowerment seminars before we deserve a seat at the table where capital is distributed and legacies are built. But Enchantra Sanders flipped that narrative on its head. And when she did, the ground beneath my feet shifted. She looked me in the eye and said, the problem is not Black women's readiness. The problem is institutional failure. The problem is a system that refuses to provide capital, access, and respect to proven revenue generating businesses led by Black women. Let me say that again because this is the heart of everything we are talking about tonight. The problem is not us. The problem is them. This is not about empowerment. This is about investment. This is not about rescue. This is about respect. Now, I know some of you listening right now are entrepreneurs. You have bootstrapped your business from the ground up. You have used your personal savings, your credit cards, your tax refunds, maybe even money you borrowed from family to get your dream off the ground. You have worked nights, weekends, holidays. You have sacrificed time with your children, your health, your peace of mind, your sleep, your sanity, all to build something that matters, something that could change your family's trajectory, something that could employ others, something that could leave a legacy. And you have done it. You have generated revenue. You have proven your concept. You have customers who love what you do. You have testimonials. You have traction. You have results. But when you try to scale, when you try to take your business to the next level, you hit a wall so thick, so high, so impenetrable that no amount of hustle can break through it. You cannot get a loan. You cannot get investors. You cannot get into the networks where deals are made and capital flows freely, where handshakes turn into $1 million contracts, where one introduction changes everything. And you start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing? Why is this so hard for me when it seems so easy for everyone else? Sister, let me tell you something right now. You are doing nothing wrong. The system is broken, or rather, the system is not broken at all. It was built this way. It was designed to keep you out. It was constructed to make you feel like the problem so you would never question why the doors are locked in the first place. Let me share some numbers with you that Enchantra brought to my attention, numbers that should make every single one of us furious. Over 80% of Black women entrepreneurs fund their businesses with personal savings. 80%. Because venture capital access is less than 1%. Less than 1%. In Canada, Black women own small and medium enterprises generate over $90 billion in revenue. $90 billion. They employ nearly 1 million people. They innovate at a rate of 38%, the highest among all their peers. The highest. And yet they still receive less than 1% of venture capital funding. These are not businesses that need training. These are businesses that need capital. These are not women who need empowerment. These are women who need respect. These are not founders who need another workshop on how to pitch. These are founders who need investors to stop making excuses and start writing checks. Enchantra Sanders introduced me to a framework called the Hidden 10, and it changed the way I think about entrepreneurship for Black women forever. The framework identifies 3 critical stages in a business's growth: revenue, access, scale. Most Black women entrepreneurs get stuck in what is called the sticky middle. That space between revenue and scale, where you have proven your business works, you have paying customers, you have a viable product or service, but you do not have the networks, the formal finance, or the resources to expand. You are generating income, but you cannot break through to the next level. And it is not because you are not working hard enough. It is not because you are not smart enough. It is not because you are not ready enough. It is because the doors are locked and the people with the keys refuse to let you in. They would rather you stay small, stay grateful, stay in your lane. But we are done staying small. Let me tell you about Rebecca Inonchong. She is a pioneering Cameroonian tech entrepreneur who founded Appstech back in 1999, when Africa's digital economy was just beginning to take shape, when most people could not even imagine what tech on the continent could become. Rebecca started in Yaoundé, coding solutions for local banks, navigating a male dominated tech ecosystem that prioritized training over capital, that offered her empowerment instead of investment, that told her she needed to be ready before she could be funded. But Rebecca did not wait for permission. She bootstrapped. She built strategic networks. She advocated for women led funds and policy reforms. She demanded respect, not rescue. And she scaled Apps Tech into a leading IT solutions um, provider serving major corporations, including the United Nations and the World Bank. She did this without heavy venture capital reliance because venture capital was not available to her. She did it anyway. Rebecca did not just build a business, she paved the way for an entire generation of African women in tech. She founded the Women in Technology Association with Africa and became one of the continent's most influential voices, not because someone gave her permission, but because she refused to wait for it. She took what was hers. She built what was needed. She opened doors that were locked. And here's what Rebecca says, and I want you to hear this in your spirit: respect, not rescue. That is the mantra Black women do not need to be saved. We need to be seen. We need to be funded. We need to be taken seriously. We need to be invested in like the proven revenue generating, economy shifting powerhouses we already are. Now, let's talk about Black women entrepreneurs in Canada because this is not just an African story. This is a global story. This is a diaspora story. This is our story. According to Black Business Magazine, Black women entrepreneurs in Canada represent a rising force in the economy. 80% self fund their businesses. They are building companies in tech, clean energy, creative sectors, healthcare, food innovation. They are innovating at the highest rates. They collectively generate billions in revenue and employ nearly 1 million people. Nearly 1 million jobs created by Black women who were told they were not ready, who were told to wait, who were told to get more training, but they are still excluded from the networks where capital flows. They are still underrepresented in venture capital portfolios. They are still stalling at the pre scale access stage, not because their businesses are not viable, not because they do not have traction, but because the system refuses to invest in them. Because the system would rather fund other tech bro with a half baked idea than a Black woman with a proven revenue model and a 5-year track record. These women are bootstrapping from immigrant roots, from diaspora communities, from informal saving systems, mirroring the same sticky middle that African women face on the continent. And yet, they are transforming entire sectors. They are redefining what Canadian entrepreneurship looks like. They are boosting GDP. They are creating jobs, they are building legacies, and they are doing it without the support they deserve, without the capital they have earned, without the respect they are owed. Enchantra Sanders told me something during our interview that I cannot stop thinking about. She said, the highest global female entrepreneurship is in Africa. Yet structural biases limit growth. What we need is not more training. What we need is respect, women led funds, and policy consistency. This is the shift we have to make, sisters. We have to stop accepting the narrative that we are not ready. We have to stop internalizing the lie that we need more empowerment before we deserve investment. We have to stop believing that the problem is us when the problem has always been the system that was designed to exclude us. We have to start demanding what we have already earned. We have to start building our own tables. We have to start funding each other. We have to start saying no to programs that offer empowerment and yes to investors who offer capital. We have to start choosing respect over rescue, investment over inspiration, action over applause. Because here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. Black women are not the problem. The system is the problem. And the solution is not to fix us. The solution is to dismantle the system and build something new in its place. Now, I want to bring this back to the heart of soft girl era because this conversation is not just about entrepreneurship. It is about how we have been conditioned to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders to prove ourselves over and over and over again, to hustle harder, to be twice as good, to never rest, to never ask for help, to never demand what we deserve. It is about how we have been taught that survival is strength and softness is weakness. But what if the real strength is in refusing to play by those rules? What if the real power is in saying, I have already proven myself, now invest in me? What if the real revolution is in choosing rest, in setting boundaries, in demanding respect, not rescue, in saying my cocoon days are over and I am finally a butterfly? Enchantra Sanders is doing that work in the entrepreneurial space. She is helping Black women move from revenue to scale by building networks, advocating for women led funds, and demanding institutional change. She is not asking for permission. She is claiming what is already ours. And that is what we are doing here in Soft Girl Era. We are claiming our right to softness. We are claiming our right to rest. We are claiming our right to joy, to peace, to boundaries, to healing, to wholeness, to being seen, to being valued, to being invested in. So here's my question for you tonight, beautiful soul. What if the real barrier is not your business's readiness, but the systems? What if the real problem is not your lack of skills, but the world's lack of respect? What if the real solution is not more training, but more investment, more capital, more access, more doors flung wide open? And here is my call to action. And I need you to hear this with your whole heart. Will you join or build a Black women led network today to demand the capital and respect that turns revenue into legacy scale impact? Will you stop waiting for permission and start claiming what is already yours? Will you stop accepting empowerment and start demanding investment? Will you stop playing small and start building the empire you were always meant to lead? Because we do not need rescue. We need respect. We do not need empowerment. We need investment. We do not need to prove ourselves again. We need the world to recognize what we have already built, what we are already generating, what we are already creating. The system was not broken, it was built this way. But we are the ones who get to rebuild it. We are the ones who get to decide what comes next. We are the ones who get to open the doors that were locked, fund the dreams that were dismissed, to invest in the brilliance that was overlooked. You are ready. You have always been ready. The system just was not ready for you. But guess what? We are not waiting anymore. This is Soft Girl Era. This is where we unlearn survival and reclaim softness. This is where we drop the cape and pick up the crown. This is where we say no to hustle culture and yes to rest, to joy, to boundaries, to respect, to investment, to legacy. My cocoon days are over and I'm finally a butterfly. And sister, so are you. Now let's fly.